say a few words of opening. First, I would like to, on behalf of the family, the wife who is seated here, Shadi, and the sons, Timian and Tomiwa, and brothers and sisters of Tolu, Ogunkoya, and the entire family, welcome you all to this solemn event. Passed to be with the Lord on the 25th of April, and last week his body was committed to Mother Earth, among other activities in London, service of songs, and were well attended by friends, colleagues, professionals in the media and marketing industry in Nigeria and internationally, both on the client side, the media partners, a very wide array of segments, representation. And so today, we want to do it a little bit differently. I'll tell you, there's a lot of tears were shed, and I do believe that many more will still be shared even today as we continue to listen very, very greatly. But today we want it to be about celebrating him and the contributions, the impacts, and the influence that he had, and how he was raised many, of whom I would say very happily, very proud one of them. I met him in 2000. I'll save that for another period. But today we really want to celebrate it. We want to be a time where we share on the different ways in which he touched and influenced our lives, our careers. Many of us saw him from a professional perspective, but this past few years has given me many opportunities to see how he's influencing beyond the industry in different areas of people's lives. So today we want to make it about sharing about him and those beautiful ways in which he's touched us. So please join us on behalf of the OMD alumni, those of us who work with lineage at one point or the other, on behalf of the integrated marketing communications industry in Nigeria, on behalf of friends and colleagues of Mr. Ogunkoya over the past almost 6 decades at different levels, we welcome you all. And even though it's a solemn occasion and event, we still want to use this period to celebrate. Thank you so much for joining and for being part of this evening's event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Femi. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to, it is a happy moment in the sense that we are here to celebrate the life of a man that we all got to experience in one way or another. So I want to do something a bit unorthodox, just to make us a bit happy. So I want you to think of a word that describes Tolu. I'll count to 3. Think of that word. Do you have the word? If you have the word, say I. Now, I need you to just whisper that word that describes Tolu in one word to the person to your right or to your left. Are we ready? On the count of 3. Sorry, I think I did. Did you get that in front? Please, one more time.
It was successful.
No, she changed it. Don't change it for us. Go back to that original word. What was it?
The goals.
The goals. The greatest of all time. Not Asun. Not that one. I'll take one more here. Do you have a word? Principled. Thank you very much. Everyone in their little way, is with you tonight. You are not alone now. God is with you. God is your strength. And because of the life that Egbon lived, the truth is that He's not actually left us. He's more with us now than ever. You will get to hear from various people this evening who have worked and experienced Egbon Tolu firsthand. And please, we do crave your indulgence when you do come up for your tribute to stick to 3 minutes, unless otherwise told. We want to ensure that we get in as many tributes as possible this evening.
It was something. I heard a lot about him before that day, and he had just finished setting us in order. And then we met when he was coming out of the hall, and he just said one word to me, and I was amazed, and I would forever cherish that moment every day. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Anyway, the first reading for today is taken from the book of Revelation chapter 7 from verses 9 to 17. And I read, "After these things I looked, and behold, a multitude which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes with palm branches in their hands. 10. And crying out with a loud voice, saying, Salvation belongs to our God who sits on the throne, to the Lamb, perfect submission, perfect delight. Visions of rapture now burst on our sight. Angels descending, bring from above echoes of mercy, whispers of love." Oh, sorry, I'm reading the hymn. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. 11. All the angels stood around the throne, and the elders and the 4 living creatures, and fell on their faces before the throne and worshipped God, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom, thanksgiving and honor and power and might be to our God forever and ever. Amen. Then one of the elders answered, saying to me, Who are these arrayed in white robes, and where did they come from? And I said to him, Sir, you know. So he said to me, These are the ones who come out of the great tribulation, and washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore, they are before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he who sits on the throne will dwell among them. They shall neither hunger any more, nor thirst any more, and the sun shall not smite them, nor any heat. For the Lamb who is in the midst of the throne will shepherd them and lead them to living fountains of water, and God will wipe away their tears from their eyes. God bless the reading of his word.
Thank you. Please do all rise for the first hymn for this evening. It is on page 4 of the program. Blessed Assurance.
To say sing my Savior all the day long. Hallelujah.
Language. You don't necessarily need to understand it, but you can feel it. It doesn't need your permission as long as you can hear it. It touches you where no one can. It is time for the tribute, and the first tribute this evening will be by the Managing Director, Lady Bird Agency, in the person of Mrs. Bumi Oke.
It's with a heavy heart that I stand here this evening. But it's also an honor and a privilege. I thank God that I was able to come to this occasion. My story with Tolu goes a bit of a long way. We were professional colleagues. He started his career in 1990. I started mine in 1986. So it tells you, we knew ourselves as far back as when I was, I think, even before I got married. But the point I'm trying to bring out is that where Tolu and I really connected was the fact that he was in media and I was in advertising, in client service. A lot of people do not know that I had a media stint in my career. There was a time I was a media and client service director for LTC, advertising, LTCJ or something. So we used to share a lot about media. But we got more into media management when we were jointly working on an account, which was then a salad, because they were always they were the media independent in charge of all this, and we had to do the media analysis apart from strategic planning. But Tolu showed me one strength of his as a brother. Tolu and I had a common client, British American Tobacco at that point. And somehow the managing director and I think the marketing director had a knack of inviting us to some private events. And then I'll meet Tolu and his wife and myself and my husband would go. So we got to forge a relationship of understanding. But what really tripped me about Tolu was that he was then the Nipan advertising president. I was then in 2012 to 2014 the AAAN president. But Tolu was a person that when I called on him, he never for one day didn't pick my call. More importantly, Tolu will come in person. Every function I invited Tolu, and like they said, Tolu is an introvert. But with Tolu, he will come for my function somehow. He always supported me as AAAN president. And for that, I really want to say thank you to him. Because when you see the tall man at that event, you know what it means. He stood out of the crowd, so he always put support. More importantly, there was a day when I was then running One for One Worldwide. He called me out of the place and said, Bumi, there's an account we want you to pitch for. But we seem to feel your agency will do the best for it. Anyway, it turned out to be Bajaj. Bajaj at that time was one account that nobody understood because it was from India. And I think they were doing the media planning. And we got onto that business and we won that account. But more importantly, that was an account that not only paid us in foreign currency, it became a very important account to our portfolio. I can go on and on and on about Tolu. He was just a man that we had an understanding without talking too much. If I called Tolu for anything, even when I left One for One and I went on to do my thing, Tolu still reached out to me. We always had a close relationship. But I will give you one kudos. Tolu was a gentleman. Tolu was a gentleman to the core. No anger. He will always respectfully call you. In fact, at a point, the way he would talk to you, you would wonder if I was like 10 years older than you. But no, he was just somebody who was a quintessential gentleman. And for that, I will always be grateful. And you should always be humble because Tolu was a man in a million. And honestly, with the kind of pressure of work we do in advertising, to have a gentleman giant that managed so much pressure, I would just say I'm really honored, but sad that I'm here to actually talk this day. I thought it would be at a birthday, but who are we to question? I think on this note, I want the family to know that Tolu was dearly loved, but Tolu made impact in so many ways that I think words cannot put together. I hope this little tribute will let you know that Tolu was a man of impact. And on a lighter note, why Tolu was easy to remember was that his name was that of my senior sister, so it was very easy. So on that note, we thank God for Tolu's life, and I thank you for listening to my little tribute and giving me the honor and privilege to say goodbye to Tolu in a way that honestly it's been hard to say, but We thank God for his life of impact. Thank you very much.
He says catalyst. We have Tunde Ogumola, Enigma. There's one that really caught my eye. Donnie said leader. Omoni said pioneer. But this one by Mrs. Oniyelu, Baba Jeje, that's easygoing man. Please keep your words coming in for those of you online, and if you just joined us, it is great to have you here as we pay tribute to a legend, a Baba Jeje, a very tall man whose character and poise matched his height, and who was always there for those that he cared about. To give the second tribute, I have the privilege of calling up a bosom friend of his in charge of Fox Media in the person of Uncle Ray. Uncle Ray?
We are here to celebrate a very dear friend. Tolu was my aburo to the core. Anywhere he goes, anywhere I am with him, anybody that comes in contact with me and Tolu, this is Uncle Ray. This is Uncle Ray. This is Uncle Ray. The uncle came and met us once in Tolu's house where we were just talking. He said, Uncle, this is my other uncle, Uncle Ray. We have a special relationship. I met Tolu first in 1990 when I was with S1U. They just moved to Apapa. Then, you this year, the MD of S1U. So I just got I was a shareholder in Classic Magazine then. So we just had the first media break. I went in there. I wanted to see UD. Unfortunately, he hadn't come, so I saw Tolu. I saw this tall young man. I just said, he just looked at me and greeted me. He just like bowed for me. Like I said, sit down. We sat down. And I gave him the first account. And he was so elated, that just like that. So Yuri came later, and we saw him and all of that. Over the years, I lost contact with Tolu for a couple of years, but when we got in touch again, he said, Uncle Ray, what are you doing now? Can you add some value to our business? I need you to add some value to our business. And I know you can do it. A couple of months, we kept going backward and forward until we found a platform that media rich will also benefit from, and Tolu himself. And when this opportunity came, he was very glad. He was very glad that I took that extreme body, like what my sister was saying. The media industry is not a small place where you just run into. People think you just go there and make money. No. You have to work for your money. You have to use your brain. You have to use your intellect. So we had this good relationship going. Tolu will always tell me, Uncle Ray, meeting in the office does not give us time to really talk and enjoy ourselves. Come to the house. I will go. And if I was Tolu will give me a time, 5:45 to this time, 1 hour, never. 3 hours we are still there. 3 hours we are still there. We'll talk and we'll gist, we'll laugh. And, sometimes my wife will say, but you say you are going to Uncle Tolu now, you'll be here just now. I say, I'm still here with Tolu. You will not allow me go. He was such a humble man. A very good man. He has a very good heart. When he has some problem with some stuff in the office, he just say, Uncle Ray, what do you think? Please, if you know this guy, go and talk to him. I don't like this guy. And that kind of a good boss. He was a boss, but not a boss. He was accessible to all. A very, very gentle man. A good husband. A good father. When we talk about the two sons, sometimes it's just Uncle Ray. Look, I need to get these boys to this level. I need to get them to this level. I'll say, go ahead. Whatever we can do, let's support them, And it's such a wonderful thing. But what the Bible tells us, it's not the amount of what you have, the wealth or whatever you amount on this world that you leave behind. It's not the money. But the legacy, the memories of a good man like this, Tolu, that will leave behind, that we are all here, is something that you cannot buy with money. I'm very grieved, but I can't question God. The day I heard it, I was in London. I was just coming from the US. I just came out of the aircraft. I think I talked to the MD of, when I just said that, we had what happened? I said, what happened? He said, Tolu. I said, which Tolu? He said, Tolu. Oh, I said, oh my God. Is that how this life is? But who are we? But it's better that he has done so well and left a very good name than living for 60, 70, 80 years and something goes wrong somewhere along the line. I remember I met him once when he was doing something for the industry with the minister, Lai Mohammed. He didn't also know that I know Lai Mohammed a little bit. And the way he introduced me to Lai, this is Uncle Ray, this is Uncle Ray, this is Uncle Ray. And Lai Mohammed was like, who is this Uncle Ray? You know? We went to his house in Nigeria and we had a good time. You see, what I'm just trying to say, just be nice to people. Live your life to the fullest. You don't know who can take you to the next level tomorrow. We are all there for one another. Nobody's an island. Tolu was not an island. He depended on everybody. All what my sister was saying, I didn't want to repeat all of them, but that's the Tolu I know as well. He rather give it for you to have it. Everybody's happy. So we are here to celebrate a great man. As tall as he is, that's how great he is. So he's not just tall. As tall as he is, that's how great he is. We thank God for today. Thank God, my sister Shola. God will not leave you alone. Just remember that you have God by your side. He will always be there for you and the children. And the extended family. Tolu has left a mark. Nobody can take it away. In this industry, 20, 30 years to come, Tolu will still be a standard and a reference point. And I pray the Lord will help us all to emulate Tolu and do what Tolu stands for. That at the end, when it's your time, people will come here and celebrate you too. In Jesus' name.
As professional colleagues and evolved to friends much later. I think we probably encountered each other for the first time about 27, 28 years ago when he was at SMU and he was in client service and I was at Cadbury managing a certain brand and we were about to launch a certain brand that was supposed to shake the market. And a key theme with Tolu was his professionalism, you would say really quintessential in terms of engaging with us as his clients, but it was at the same level. We could have conversations, we could offer perspectives that we took, and when we did launch that brand, it did shake the market. And as time evolved, that was really what Tolu epitomized: professionalism, pragmatism, and also being personable. Okay, I'm trying to use the keys of marketing. So when Oscar was asking about fees, I thought of many of words of Tolu, and some of the words that came to my mind. It's professional. He was personable. He was a gentleman, being polite, but also pragmatic. And he was truly passionate about the things that he believed in. And it's a real great loss. But I think that, as the Bible enjoins us, the memory of the righteous, the just, is blessed. He's left a legacy that indeed we are all proud of, and I believe that Joshua and the family should be proud of. Our prayer is that indeed the Lord would be with you, the Lord is with you, He will comfort you, He will strengthen you, and His joy shall continually be your strength. On a light note, I think that Tolu's voice is one of the few in the industry that comes close to mine. The only good thing about his is that his was proportional to his size, unlike mine, which is at inverse proportion. But let us rejoice in the life Tolu lived, and let that comfort be the source of strength. Thank you. Good evening.
It was a beautiful way to start the week. A beautiful time to start life. 8 days later, his parents named him Gbekeloluwa to be Okwe. It was 1 week to Christmas. So, who wouldn't give thanks to God for such an early Christmas gift? And so, the prattling baby boy became an infant ready to go to school. And he attended Bola Memorial Nursery and Primary School. And he grew. He He was raised by his grandparents, Dr. and Mrs. Ladipo, the young with the old. He grew up as Beke, so his friends of yore told. He was an obedient boy, a sharp boy, an example to behold. What would you expect when his grandparents were the mold? He also found joy in being a vining boy, a choir boy, an altar boy, a spiritual side to this Omwagba boy. Tolu proceeded to secondary school, and in '84 he finished at Ikeja High, and on the University of Ilorin he set his sights. He graduated in '88 with an honors degree in political science under his cape. The Omo Agba in him always showed up. That was the line he told. It shaped the man and his manifold attributes. We were to know. It's what brought him to Adland, the promised land. Tolu's advertising career kicked off at Insight Grey in March 1990, followed by SONU, Sachi and Sachi in '92. And he progressed. In 1999, he was appointed the Pioneer General Manager of Media Reach Nigeria, and he soared. He successfully managed Media Reach for 19 years and in the process became a member of the OMD network, one of the largest media agency networks in the world. He spread the agency's wings to encompass Cameroon and Ghana. Today, Media Reach OMD is one of the biggest media agencies in Nigeria and across West and Central Africa. Under his leadership, Media Reach OMD launched the annual Nigerian Media Facts Book in 2001. Since 2006, this publication has covered 20 countries across West and Central Africa and is published in English and French. In the past 5 years, Tolu operated as the Regional Chief Executive Officer, OMG WECA, with offices in Lagos, Accra, and Cameroon, and partner offices in 3 other locations across West and Central Africa. Tolu was an unwavering advocate for a strong media industry, and this led to the founding of the Media Independence Practitioners Association of Nigeria, MIPAN. All the leading media agencies operating in Nigeria are registered MIPAN members. He was the association's 3rd president from 2008 till 2015 and continued as an ex-officio member of its executive council and several ARCON committees. His quest for raising the standards and preserving the heritage of practice led to the creation of AMA, Alphabet Media Academy, that offers bespoke marketing communications training to media professionals. In recognition of his outstanding contributions to the advertising industry, Tolu was elevated to the highest professional grade and inducted as a fellow registered practitioner in advertising, FRPA, by APCON, now ARCON. Tolu was a fellow of the Institute of Directors Nigeria and member of the Ikeja Golf Club, amongst other professional and recreational organizations. He was also the chairman, Board of Directors, Brook House School, situated in Ikate, Lekki, Lagos. In January 2022, Tolu was appointed as the chairman of the Audience Measurements Task Force by Honorable Minister for Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, a role he took on with purpose and passion, like he did all things. In his personal life, he married his sweetheart, Shola Tolu Ogunkoya, in the year 1995, and they are proud and loving parents to Tomiwa and Timisola Tolu Ogunkoya, aged 25 and 22 years respectively. If you were to describe his personality, Tolu was an outgoing introvert, yet he lived an active and fulfilled life. He made for himself good friends, and he gave his all to everything and everyone he had a close relationship with. He was a loyal friend, business associate, and family man. Tolu had a generous philanthropic heart, and it was with a sense of duty that he enabled so many people's careers and supported their businesses. He was a people builder, industry shaper, a gentleman, and a gentleman. He was a man of meticulous standards, impeccable character, and entrenched Omonuabi attributes, and yet, suddenly and painfully, surrendered that entirely on Tuesday, 25th of April, 2023. And yet, like he was on that December morning in 1966, Tolu Ogunkoya was a gift to his family, the industry, and Nigeria. Let's give thanks to God for his generous life. Peace eternal, Tolu. Tolu lives on.
Good evening, everyone. The reading is taken from John 14, 1-7. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may also be. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going, and how can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would also have known my Father also. And from now on, you know him and have seen him. This is the word of the Lord.
Mr. Tolu Ogunkoya.
is an embodiment of professionalism which we work. If it's not going to do, he will tell you, this will not fly. My first encounter with him was around 1988 when I was transferred or when I was asked to be the secretary of the media committee of AAA. He was then with SYU. I was a member of the media committee of AAA. And we were working on media workshop. Fast forward, the last project we worked on together was the federal government project on audience measurement. He was appointed the chairman of the project. The app, myself and the DGMBC were requested to supervise the project at the two government regulatory agencies. And we had a series of meetings. Mr. Tolu Ogunkoya is a gentleman. Is a professional, and we will miss him. The Nigerian advertising industry will miss him. ACON will miss him. A distinguished fellow of the advertising profession. There's nothing I can see that will bring him back. We will all miss him. May his gentle soul rest in peace.
I remember the first time I met him. And by the way, Oscar, I think the next film queued to play is mine, so I don't know how you're going to handle that. Yeah, the first time I met him was in 1996. I was then working with an agency called MCNA. And we got sent on a training, AAAN training. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps the training happened inside SYU for some funny reason. And Julia Oku was part of the facilitator. And then Tolu Ogunkoya was really busy on the day, but they found a way to get him to take us on that training. Here I was, this skinny 25-year-old boy in 1996. And the first thing that struck me was his height. I'm like, my goodness, I've seen tall people, but this guy in a hurry. You know, benefit of hindsight, which is 2020, I don't know, as if he had a foreboding of something. He really wanted to close up on that job, on that task. And again, it could be because he saw that the tenure of the minister was, and the tenure of the former government was coming to a close. He threw everything he had at that task. And the way he managed everybody, he was not bossy, he was really accommodating of everyone. And in his honor, part of the resolution we made was, even whatever is going to take us, we'll make sure in his honor we'll wrap up that project. May Tolu Ogunkoya soul rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Like a few people already mentioned, my boss, I call him my boss because even though I worked for him for about 5 years, about 17 years ago, his influence is still almost like yesterday. A few things have already been said about the impact in the Nigerian marketing communications industry, particularly MIPAN. He was our third president. Apart from his height and obviously his shoe size, there's no way I think I can fill the shoes that is left behind. I do believe that, but collectively, we can all work together to make sure that we continue with the same passion and vision and foresight that he had. Just to mention a few, and the whole migration into a scientific-based media strategy and planning in Nigeria, he dreamt it, he thought about it, he lived it, he galvanized everyone. And, you know, of course, with his inspiration of his boss as well, Mr. Jotop, you could feel the energy and the passion because they know the impact, the transformational impact that can have on the Nigerian industry. And this was 20 years ago, and even up till now, it still continues even in that energy because, to use his word, we have used these books widely for too long. It is time to migrate to the next Jaguar. And then and this is just one of the things that it says to inspire and to encourage us to galvanize us into the next level. He also significantly, I don't know how many people here know about the Media Facts book and just the entire, the entire benefits or value that is derivable by being able to have historical data of spend by different, by different sectors, by different clients, and be able to develop or to draw insights, from all of these data, and for these data to be available almost at the touch of the button, starting with the book, the Media Fact book, I think it was 2001 or 2002, and continuous improvement on how we can move this into even documenting spend in the industry, getting agencies to document, to make the advertising investment, 70 years. And sometimes, without comparison, sometimes it feels like great men, sometimes don't live for too long. Our Lord Jesus Christ is a shining example, obviously no comparison. But also Martin Luther was only how old? 39. But we still can feel the effect and the impact of the life that these people live. I can go on and on in terms of his contributions to the industry. But what I want to say, if all wishes, if I could, I will try. I believe in the school that we have. And even as an industry working together, I think one of the ways in which you can pay real tribute and also immortalizing him is making sure that the audience measurement comes to life in Nigeria. I think it will be one way in which we can show that we really have value for the work that is done. The second, obviously, will be to be able, if I had, all the money in the world, will be to donate a secretariat or MAPAN and to name it after him. And I do believe that that is possible. Because our brothers AAAN and OAN do have secretariats of their own and not in rented buildings. I think it will be one of the ways in which you expect us to carry on in the legacy that is made. And I do believe that we will make this happen. And the final note will be, we need to continue to inspire the new generation. And as a leader of leaders, who Tolu was, when you look around, if you don't mind, sometimes it's good to copy, right, and paste when it's a good thing. So this was something I saw in London at his service of song. And I'd like to appeal that we all rise. And in 1 full minute, and I'd like the MC to count, full 1 minute.
Keep going, ladies and gentlemen, keep going. Let the applause reach the heavens. Where Tolu is currently residing. Him looking down on each and every one of us and saying, ha, this guy stands even clap for me. Let's make it louder, ladies and gentlemen. May the gentle giant soul rest in perfect peace. Please be seated. Tribute was online, and it's from Patrick Gomez. As you said, life and death are two ends of the same thread. It's indeed so true. However, with that thread, Tolu has been able to weave a wonderful fabric of media. He has been able to bind, motivate, network, unite, reunite, and I can go on using various adjectives to describe Tolu's unique abilities. He was a man of intent and dreams for good. Good not for himself alone, but more for others around him. If you should miss your hand and hit somebody's face, we have security here, we'll escort you out. This is not that type of an event.
What is the measure of a life well spent? Can it be calculated in how much money you earned or how much of it you spent? Perhaps it can be quantified by how much you garnered for yourself or how much knowledge you shared, loved, the intentionality of your care. See, I believe a life well spent is like a giant fruit tree. Standing sturdy and tall, it provides welcome shade from the sweltering heat to all who sit beneath. After years of constantly watering itself, it provides its fruits for others to eat, its leaves, evergreen medicine reaching for the sun, while its roots go deep, ready to withstand whatever earthly storm. Satio was much akin to that giant fruit tree. He stood sturdy, yes, he stood tall. With a mind full of wisdom and heart filled with love, he had room for all. After years of watering himself, he gave the fruits of his knowledge freely. Evergreen wisdom, keeping you grounded whatever the storm, no matter how windy. He was father to more than the two that he bore. He was father to all. I guess that is why this fall has shaken so many to their core. Because even though his place was ready in heaven far above, you would agree with me that it is never easy or aesthetically pleasing to say final goodbyes to the ones that we respect, to the ones that we love. But I promise, he loved you back. Satio, a man that carried the world on his back. You see, grief's embrace is never warm. When the cold hand of the afterlife grabs at the ones that we love dearly in this life, all that remains is the fragility their absence leaves in our lives. Grief's embrace is never warm. Nothing like the gentle, all-encompassing warmth felt in the tender hug given by grandparents. This instead is hollow. It is void, only it is a void filled with pain. But at times like this, when the reality that loss leaves behind is too overwhelming, when grief constricts your heart and it feels overbearing, even if you forget the entire poem, remember this part, even Jesus wept. So let the tears flow. Soothe like healing balm over your grieving soul. Each teardrop be part of the healing process. I promise. And even as you cry, take solace in the fact that great men, they say, never die. So do not fret. For though his physical form might no longer be present, I promise his presence will forever be felt. Evident in the lives he touched, evident in the thoughts he changed, evident in the situations he transformed, evident in the light he gave. Though our father, husband, brother, boss, has transitioned into ethereal realm without us, his principles would remain. No fire brigade approach, but make sure hard work guides you. Stay humble in your dealings, make sure to stay impactful, be mindful, be firm, operate in gratitude long term. Because no matter how far we run on our journey, see, one day the fear of death will become a reality we are each one fated to face. Prepared or not, we would all get to that point when you and the great beyond would stand shoulder to shoulder, face to face. So make sure now that then you are satisfied with all that you gave, the love, the care, the impact you made. Make certain that your living creates much more than a tiny dent in death, because look around you, that truly is a measure of a life well spent. Thank you.
Sincere condolence goes to the family of Tolu Ogunkoya. I met Tolu Ogunkoya at 25 years ago at a AAN media committee function. After that function, we struck a chord. Fast forward, I left the advertising industry to work for an HMD as general manager. On this fateful day, I went to market to him. We spoke for about 30 minutes. And he said to me, the media industry has an issue in planning and buying. And people like yourself are walking the streets, marketing HMD. I'm going to find a way of bringing you back into the industry. I said to him that I wasn't particularly too interested in coming back. But he said, whether you like it or not, you are going to come. So I said, okay. 2 months after that, I got a call from him. And he said I should go and see Mr. Top. What was the meeting for? He did not tell me. So when I got to Mr. Top's office, he said, yes, Tolu has spoken to me about you. We were looking for an ED for media planning services. And I said, he said, no, don't worry. He's spoken about you. I'm not even going to conduct a very long interview. Just tell me your name, tell me your experience in 1 minute, and let's discuss emoluments. We did that in less than 5 minutes, and I was off. When I resumed at NPS, I found that NPS, by the way, is Media Planning Services Limited. And what we were created to do for the industry is to do audience measurement using the diaries. And it's a good thing now that we're trying to migrate to what you call passive measurement. And I hope to God that we're able to do it. Now, when I started at NPS, I found that this is a company that owners held a meeting 2 weeks earlier to possibly round this up because it wasn't working. So I went back to Tolu. I said, Tolu, why would you do this to me? He said, no, you got to give back to the industry. So go there, I will give you 100% support, and let's see how far we go. And to the glory of God, and with the help of Tolu Ogunkoya, as our main supporter and our directors, we are still here today, 20 years after. I don't want to go into a personal relationship with him, because most of the things that have been said about Tolu tonight are correct. He's a gentleman. Tolu is a great and selfless soul. God bless you. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Tolu and I will come back a long time. We transcended from being colleagues in RMS. He was a business unit manager. Excuse me. I'm very sorry. We transcended from being he was business unit manager for Media Reach. I was business unit manager for a company called Novelty Display. Eventually, we started working, and we worked very well. One not Tolu in the business, in the industry, but I know in both industry and the bad world. Tolu had a good side, wonderful side. Not as he worked with his. And he tells you, Dave, we can't kill ourselves over this war. Let's go out and do something. Cooling off and all that. Our relationship went on to becoming families. Shola, my wife, we both have boys. So we do what we call them. Our boys do what we call them. On holidays, this one come to my house, stay with them. On this holiday, they come and all that. And our wives take care of the children. There was something that one of the holidays that we decided to do. We're like, we don't have tall boys. I'm the shortest among all of them. So we said, let's take them to stadium to learn how to play basketball. So the youngest boy, his youngest boy, Tim was the most enthusiastic person who wanted to learn basketball. Whereas the older ones are bigger, he wanted to be the one in the middle. But I thank God today, the boy is close to 7 feet and is playing basketball. We started going in the morning, on Saturday, 7 a.m. till 3. Now, our relationship transcends beyond work. It was family. It was friends. We used to call him sometimes submarine. When he wants to walk, he goes and walk. He calls you, Dave, where are you? My bosses are here. Mr. Ogunkoya and Mr. Thorpe. They used to call us 6 and 7. Dave, where is Tolu? Tolu, where is Dave? I'm not here today to be very sad because I know that he happened to be a twilight. It just comes with it. Encompass the whole industry like a giant that he is. I can't talk about Tolu in the past. I still talk about him in the future. In the present and in the future. He has left his footprints in the sand of times. Ladies and gentlemen, please just do one thing. Remember the family in prayer. Shola, God loves you. You know that. You have a family in us. You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
Honorary Secretary of MIPAN, and then later, when I stopped working, where I was at Media Share in those days, 2014, Tolu insisted that I come back to be the Executive Secretary, and that's what I've been up to this moment. So I have to pen down something, just briefly. It's not going to be long. I called him Theo, a friend like no other. Truly, the Bible says in Proverbs 18:24, a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. That was who Tolu was to me. It's unfortunate that I can now say he was to me. A man who was very tall in the true sense of the word and in all aspects of life, but was cut short in death. Who had an incredible zeal and deep desire for human capital development and impartation of knowledge. These qualities inevitably attracted me to him when we worked together in MIPAN ESCO between 2018 and 2015 before he voluntarily decided to step aside as the MIPAN president. Colin Benson came up with an idea of a media school in 2014. He was the natural first point of call, and he immediately bought into the idea, and we set out to work. To show his unalloyed commitment, he said I should go ahead to commission the feasibility study, and he paid. We met several times to get the right name until we arrived at Alphabet Media Academy Limited after several attempts. He got a lawyer to do the name search and registered the name. He paid. He commissioned the logo design and the first set of stationery. He paid. When we bought the first set of furniture, Tolu paid for them. When we launched the academy in April 2018, some of you were there, he paid for every kobo that went into that event. Because then we didn't have money, I just started and all that. He was the one who sought and invited most of the investors of AMA who bought shares and later brought in some money before all the amount he spent from the inception till the day of launch was refunded to him. He made sure that within the 5 short years of AMA, he had students, we had students not only from Nigeria, but other places like Benin Republic, Ghana, Cameroon, and Cote d'Ivoire, and even more. He used every physical, material, and financial resources to bring AMA to the state that it is today. He had started contacting similar schools in India, Dubai, and South Africa for exchange program for our students before his demise. I really cannot say enough because it will never be enough to talk about Tolu. One thing I can assure him, however, is that AMA will not die at his death. It will grow to become an enviable institution that one day we will name it the Tolu Ogunkoya Media Academy. And this shall happen by the grace of God. Rest on my brother and my friend. Thank you.
Connection with Tolu is on several fronts. First, we attended the University of Ilorin together. And then we also worked together in Insight Communications. I joined in '89 and Tolu joined early 1990. And then thereafter, I went to SONU, and somehow he also found his way to SONU. And then, of course, in Insight, there is a very small group of some of us that were at Insight at a particular time, management trainees, account executives, media executives, and we formed a small group that we refer to as $60 Club. I can see Shola smiling. $60 actually came about because at the time, in 1990, our salary was 630 Naira, and the exchange rate was 10 to 1. So when we convert our salary then to dollars, our salary was $60, and that's the name that we adopted for ourselves. And we used to visit each other's homes back then, a bottle of Bardinets and some granuts, and we're very, very happy to, and with our girlfriends, we're very happy to enjoy that together. One interesting thing, I'm going to speak, I'm painting a personal portrait of Tolu, and I will tell it in very short stories. The story that I would have loved to tell, I can't say it here because of time. When we managed to, we lost a car at the Marina car park. And, well, that's the story that I can't tell here.
No, you have time. You have time. It's okay.
How we lost the car?
No, you have time. Tell the story.
Well, we were at Insight, and we went for a meeting at Nikon Insurance. It was towards closing time. So that campaign has to break. It was around October 1st or so. And so we went to the car park. We drove my mother's car, and then we parked at the car park, went for the meeting. The meeting took a while before we saw the director of communications, and by the time we finished, it was getting quite late, around past 6 p.m. And so we walked, before we left, when we parked, I observed that there was a yellow bus that was parked next to the Datsun panel van that we brought. And then when we got back, we saw the yellow van, and the car was nowhere to be found. I turned to him, Tolu, when he wanted Jimon to a law. Within seconds, I was already sweating profusely. What am I going to tell my mother? And then we started looking around, lost. At some point, subconscious, I started looking under the car that was parked there. And then, and this is Tolu for you, say, calm down, calm down, calm down. But our parking. So we now turned and looked to the streets. Mr. Biggs on Marina, and I recollected that when we were going, Mr. Biggs was in front of us. And now Mr. Biggs is just right beside us. We're in the wrong car park.
And that's how, well, we found the car. If it was possible to hug the car, we would have hugged it that day. But it was his calm in that atmosphere that otherwise I don't even know. I wouldn't have thought maybe there was another car park. The second short story I'm going to tell was, of course, this one very quick. When he met Shola, and then, you know, he said this was, I was telling some friends, was it yesterday? There was no mucking around or anything, and that was exactly what he did. So they got married a year ahead of us, 1995. I got married in 1996, and so we went visiting Tolu. Tolu was a toddler then, and so when we got to the house, Tolu is somebody who is, you know, everybody knows he's a man of style, and that extends, you know, also to his taste in furniture. And so we went, you know, to his house, and then he still had, you know, all of this, you know, ornaments and decorative things around the house. And you know, we've heard that if you have a toddler, the first thing you should do is clear, you know, all of those things, you know, away. And here he was, you know, with all of those things on display. And I said, Tolu, no, he won't. That if this child, you have all these ornaments all around, and that, look, if this child should just go and then stumble on it and then start crashing down, some of them breakable things that, and he told me, point blank, he won't. I said, he won't, a toddler, only he won't. And then they said this word I will never forget, he knows not to go there. He knows not to go there, and that was exactly what happened. For the duration of the time that we were there, as we were drinking and listening, I was looking, the boy will play, but when he comes close to that thing, he will come back. And so, I can tell you that I copied it 100%. So when our son too was born, you can't go there. The other part of it that I would also want to mention, the first time that I saw Tolu's drawer in the office, I freaked out. I have never come across, since that time and up till now, I have never seen a drawer that well organized. It was as if they used ruler to measure everything that is there. Exactly, everything was exactly in place. The final thing that I would want to say just speaks to what everybody, you know, have said in terms of his professionalism. I didn't want to talk about that, but I wanted to just go way back, because Tolu started practicing media in Insight in 1990, at a time when the glamour boys of advertising were the guys in client service, you know, and nobody really wanted to be in media. Media was the very drab department where, you know, after we have done all the work and all of that, the last leg, you understand, they were the ones that would go and go and place media and leaving the office at 9 p.m. sometimes, because all the delays that have occurred, you know, along the line, they were the last leg of the race, and then we're heading to Kirikiri, to Vanguard, or somewhere to go and, or sometimes traveling to Maiduguri, I'm telling you, to go and drop, because then it was not digital. You have to take the tapes physically to the station. You have to take the negatives or the color separation to the stations. But if there was one thing that I was certain about, if the account that I was handling, if it was Tolu, that is the the media person on the job, once I hand over the material to him, I know for sure that material will run in the publication, no matter what it takes. And that is Tolu for you. He'll be sorely missed. It's funny to be talking about, I can't even talk about Tolu in the past tense. Our friends, Shola is here. In $60. Yesterday, we went visiting Tolu's mom, and when we left, we said that it will not be nice if we just disperse like that. And so we had to go somewhere. Some of the culprits are here. Elechi, Dave. So we went somewhere and we felt that we should do a little exercise, and we bent our elbows a little and we drank to Tolu's health. And we did a toast to Tolu's health. He's gone, but he's our friend. He lives in our hearts, and we always see him, you understand, like that. So here, once again, to Tolu.
I've never for once called him Tolu, because it has always been Beke. And I could hear the wonderful speeches everyone has made and the tributes. I heard someone said successful when they said you should use the word to describe him. But behind the successful man, which I call the champion, is his lovely wife. Please, a round of applause to Shola, please. She's not just the wife. Whenever they say the boys, I consider myself one of the boys because I stayed with her. I could be very stubborn, but she's a mother. Loving, disciplined, everything you can imagine. A lot of sacrifice she made to see this man a successful man. I was there. I know part of the story. Once again, thank you all. I'll be reading from the book of Psalm 103, 15 to 18. As for man, his days are like grass. As the flower of the field, so he flourishes. For the wind passes over it, and it is a gown. As the spirit remembers, is no more. But the mercy of the Lord is from the everlasting to everlasting on those who fear him, and his righteousness to children's children, to such as keep his covenant, and to those who remember his commandments. To them, may his soul continue to rest in peace.
To the everyone you in all the tributes, I guess this moment will come. But I'll be brief, because if you look at page 11 of the program, and it's been a fairly extensive tribute from me to Tolu, and it couldn't be less. It's tough not to be emotional at a time like this.
Mr. Tolu, around 13, 14 years back, when we, from Tolaram, we came to Media Reach as our agency, and we wanted to see, as an induction, it was an induction program, we just wanted to see how our media agency works. So we just came in. I just wanted to share one incident. That was the only time I met, and unfortunately I moved out of Lagos and I was not able to meet him again. That was such a great experience when I met. I didn't know who he was, and we just came to Ikeja in agency, and we were waiting for executives to come and join. And suddenly we saw a tall gentleman passing by, and he just stopped and he saw us. We didn't know him. When he came in, he didn't introduce himself, and we were just chatting with each other. 1 hour passed and nobody entered the room. He made all of us so comfortable. We forgot whether we are sitting in our own office or we are sitting in media agency. After 1 hour, when he left, later people told me it was not an induction. You were meeting the MD, the head of Media Reach. He didn't let us know that he was so big at that time, even at that time. So you can understand how humble, how respectful, how considerate he was. And Tolaram and Media Reach has almost 20 years of relationship with each other. And I think Mr. Tolu laid the foundation stage for this relationship. We are going to miss him forever. We still don't believe he is not with us anymore. He will always be with us. Thank you.
Even if you allowed us time, more people will still speak about things a lot of us here don't even know about, and yet the testimonies will never finish. But standing here representing electronic media content owners of Nigeria, I know that we will miss him dearly, because this is a man that put food on our table. He's the man that helped us pay the bills. So, my association members are here. A lot of them, those who should actually stand here to speak to you, are not able to because of the tears in their eyes, even at this moment. It's a pity he left at a time when things have gotten tougher for us in Nigeria. So, whoever is going to fill his shoes, if you can, you need to triple. If he was giving us 100 million, you need to make it 300 million, because at least you guys know that fuel has gone up. Mrs. Shola Ogunkoya, I don't know you personally, but I personally feel privileged that we are able to enjoy from the largesse of your husband. I was sitting there quietly in that corner with my partner and friend, and I was just wondering what would be going through your mind. But all I can say to you is, you need grace of God, and I think you have it. And all we can do for you is pray for you. No talk this evening can take away the pain. So we'll continue to pray for you, and I'll say, may he rest in peace. Thank you.
Tolu happens to be my identical twin in terms of height. So I normally remind him my identical twin, and that's where I introduce him to people. He's been my friend from the period he was in Insight. We also had cause to fellowship in the same church for several years, where the kids grew up. And indeed, Shola, his wife, happens to be my aburo again. So, his boss, Dr. George Edwin Thorpe, happens to be my own boss, my mentor, my coach, my teacher, my model, for several years, way back, when I was working for Pfizer. We gather here today to mourn the loss of a great and a very inspiring person, Tolu. He was more than just a regional CEO for AMD Media Reach for West Central Africa. He was a great man of intellect, a very highly productive, passionate workaholic, very honest, hardworking, dedicated, humble, kind-hearted, loving individual who inspired everybody around him. He was a charismatic leader who led his team with integrity and fairness. He was very creative and innovative, problem solver. Always find a way around to overcome any obstacle that came his way. Very hardworking and dedicated to his job, but never forgot the importance of family and the people he loved. Tolu was a family man above all else. Even though he works very hard and works till very late, but you need to visit them at home to see the setting. and the love that radiates between him and Shola and among the children. He treasured his loved one and was always there to support them in every way. His love and devotion to his family were truly inspiring, and he will be deeply missed by all those who knew him. But above all, Tolu inspired those around him. He brought about the very best in people. He encouraged them to reach for their dreams. He had a contagious enthusiasm and a positive outlook on life that made people want to be around him all the time. Although his loss profoundly saddens all of us, we can take solace in the fact that his legacy will live on. Tolu was a man who touched the lives of many, and his memory will be cherished forever. Rest in peace, Tolu, and thank you for all the amazing things you've done for every one of us who are here, one way or the other. You'll be forever missed but never forgotten because of the legacies you left. To Shola, his wife, to Tomiwa and Timisola, his children, his aged parents, his family, friends, and colleagues. The Christ's divine grace will be more than enough for you all. God bless you.
Our distinguished alumnus, Tolu Ogunkoya, was a jolly good fellow, a friend and a compatriot. He lived a meaningful life and contributed in no small way to the Alumni Association, both at the state and at the national levels. Tolu was always available and willing to support the alumni cause, even at very short notice. Always ready to go the extra mile to meet up with his commitment to the alumni. His life was a blessing and his memory will linger on in our hearts. Tolu left so soon and we will surely miss him. Time may pass away, but the legacies he left behind cannot be erased over time. He lived a life we are all proud of. Till we meet to part no more, fare thee well, our dear Tolu Gbekeloluwa Ogunkoya. To our dear sister Shola and the children, may God remain gracious unto you, uphold and abide with you always. To the siblings and the entire family, may God send help to your ways and fill the vacuum created by his exit. Amen. To the media industry that have put this together to celebrate the life and times of Tolu, we say a very big thank you. This is a noble and probably the first of its kind in the industry. May God bless you, bless the industry. Adieu to you.
When peace like the river attended my way, so my sweet heroes whatever my love thou hast taught me to say. Though Satan should come, trouble, trial should come, let these blessed show rest control. That Christ has regard with my helpless state, and has shed his own blood for my soul. It is well. My sin not in part, but is nailed to the cross, and I bear no more. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, oh my soul. Say it is well with my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is well with our soul in Jesus' name.